Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of the live episode of me and two other guys. So we are,
And there's also other people.
and there's other people. So we are going to, we are back again. Thank you so much for everybody for being here. We're going to do some sharing out so we can share this out, the link out, so you guys can join us. Why does it do that? So while we do that, and everybody jump, this little screen that pops up, preview mode. As we get people in here, I will share this out as well. We are live. Catch that link. I'm getting a call. That's not cool. The super quiet.
Yeah, that's Eric's keyboard, but I still need to switch mine because I have my loud keyboard over here right now also. What's the word for that?
Annoying.
Actuation?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I only
How
heard
loud
that
it is?
word when Apple came out with their where they had it was the actuation was shorter or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, let me switch.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got my link going out.
Did you guys like that I put my mic next to my mouse to click it even louder?
Did you?
You would, man.
I mean, are you surprised?
No.
Is you? Or
Man,
a...
our cameras are super laggy.
Are they?
You're laggy. Tell your parents to stop watching Netflix.
Nobody is home.
Well, tell Sebastian to stop streaming.
Sebastian.
Sebastian's downloading, like, what's the Lady and the Tramp?
Oh, you mean Lady and the Tramp?
I mean...
Oh, what's the Lady and the Tramp? Oh, Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, like, what's the one about the Lady and the Tramp?
So just think about it and get back to me.
You guys just let me know when you know about the movie that
All
I'm
right.
thinking
Bobby,
about.
I know that you're not at your house right now,
Right.
but like I'm getting 874 download here.
Thanks, dude. Okay, soon. Okay, so I am probably
940 up.
I'm about a month and a half away from getting into an apartment, and then I will have better intranet.
Let's go. Intranet.
Where did you eat though? Where did who eat though? Okay, I'm here. Okay.
Go up chicken butts.
Where did you eat though? Where did who eat though?
Spout.
Spirit.
Where's Bobby?
Spirit. Oh no.
Oh, I just started echoing for a second.
You did. Where's Bobby's pretty eyes?
My back.
My pretty eyes are right here.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Pretty brown eyes. We are going off the rails.
Mm-hmm. I was about to Google something. Oh, are y'all playing Wordle?
No.
I've heard of it. What does it do with Wordle?
It's worth playing. I can save it for the podcast if you'd like to.
Okay.
I just feel like I see everybody post on Facebook about it, and usually those types of trends, like TikTok, I still don't have a TikTok account. I just don't.
That's on you.
It's not on me. I just don't care. Like
Nope,
Snapchat
that's on
was
you.
like the hardest thing for me to even be a part of, and I like.
TikTok and
I
Snapchat are
have
completely
one, but
different.
I don't. It doesn't matter. It's just something that I don't fully grasp, and I don't care.
TikTok and Wordle are extremely different too.
That's fair.
Johnny V wants to know if this is where the kid cools are. Kid cools.
Kid cools are. Yeah, Johnny V.
The kid cools
Some
are here.
Kid cools
All
are
the
right
kid cools
here.
are right. Yeah.
Oh, I got you, Justin. I was just eating at home. We had tacos. We had beef tacos. And leftover
Justin,
torchy's
that's
queso.
right.
Brown bagger.
On Instagram Live, I did say that
Nice.
Robert and Eric were eating. What did you guys eat? You had tacos, Robert.
Yep.
What did you
Oh.
have, Eric?
I had the Brown Bagger, which is an amazing food truck just near our house. They have amazing chicken tendies and some of the best burgers and fry sauce I've ever had. So I love supporting them. owner, knows all about disc golf, and they're just really, really good humans. So you'll love to see it. If you're ever in the Pensacola area, go to Brown Bagger.
You're
welcome.
Your thing is off. Your audio and your
Well, it
video.
is.
Oh, it's back now.
How so?
Oh, it's back now.
It's back
Okay,
now. You're good.
All right.
Yeah, it did something weird for a second.
Was it just catching
Oh.
up? All right, we've got people on the line. We've got about 9 questions. We're just gonna bust through some questions and maybe do some
Yeah.
speculating on Katrina. That's the only one I've seen that is we're still waiting on. That's the big name, right? Or is there somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
I
we
know.
know. Yeah.
You
I know
too,
where she's
Robert?
going.
Yeah, I know.
Text it to me.
Right now?
Oh, you just need to be in the
Yes.
know? No,
Yes.
dude, don't tell him. Don't tell him.
Tell me.
Don't tell him.
Tell me.
Robert, don't tell him so he
Tell
can be the guy who
me.
doesn't know.
I paid you rent for 8 months. Tell me. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Yes, Robert. Don't give in. Hey, Dan Snyder, no.
You butthead. I'm not telling. Is that a new company? Is that out of
Hey,
Sweden?
Dan
Got him.
Snyder, we should do a meeting with Brilliant after this.
Hey, this
Really?
is our show. Don't be talking about other shows.
Yeah, so? And your point is?
Of course, I'm going to be interviewed on a show, too. I don't know if they want me to mention it yet, but they reached out to me. I'm going to be on a podcast as well.
Sick.
I am for real. Why are you laughing?
He's not going to tell you which one it is.
No, she's not Justin Choi. I'll just tell you that much. She's not going to Infinite.
You want to start it up, Bobby?
Do what? Oh, the show?
You want to start it up?
Sure, let's go. Here we go.
Let's.
I got to hit record.
Hey, did you check SpeakPipe already?
Oh, good question. Hold on. Let me check that before we go.
Am I around this weekend? I might be down for that, Joe.
Am I around?
haven't
this
played-
weekend?
We've been out of town so many weekends back to back to back.
Oh, we do have one from
Have you
Shay
tried being in
Stevens.
town,
Let me
though?
Download.
I haven't.
I'm excited about this weekend. I get to one of my clients is the owner of a CrossFit gym, and
Nice.
she's a judge at an event called KO in the OK, and
Dang.
it is basically just a big. It's not CrossFit. They're trying to get it CrossFit sanctioned, but it's not quite yet. Anyway, I asked her if I could show up, and she goes, "I'm not sure if you can show up. I'll ask around." So finally, a couple days ago, she told me, she says, "Yes, you can come in, but they already have a media crew, but we're gonna get you a band, and they want you to take pictures of like the staff and the vending and like the other stuff." And I was like, "I'll take it." And I said,
Whatever.
Can I take pictures of other stuff?" She said, "Yes." So anyway, so I think it's going to be a great opportunity to get more involved and maybe even get some more clients. So that'll be cool.
Dude. And show them who's really strong.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go, "Dude, put down the camera
Wow.
and grab a barbell."
This guy.
Get it.
You know
Just
it's
do
going to
it, man.
happen.
I mean, that's guaranteed. Hey, Chaser said he thinks that SpeakPipe is old.
I mean, it is.
Oh, is it? Oh, it probably is. Well, it says it from a week ago, and we missed last week.
Oh, we did miss last week. That's true.
About a week ago.
Oh, but it does have the same date. Never mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, sorry, Chaser. Why are you hiding, Zach?
Let's
Eric?
do it.
All right, here you
He's
go.
trying to be
My hair's,
incognito.
my hair's probably a mess, so I decided to just keep the hood gang going.
Eric's trying this new incognito thing he's never tried before.
All right, here
I'm
we go.
trying to make it so where nobody can hear me.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Possible.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to this episode of
Bobby,
the
you
Disc
should start it.
I knew that
You
was
are the
coming.
worst.
Why did I know that? Can I mute him? I don't know that I can mute him.
I won't. I had to. Because
I know, of course, you
Robert
had to
said
get
you
it
should
out of
start
your
it like
system.
4 times, and so I was like waiting for it, and then he was like, "Hey, check if SpeakPipe is working." I'm like, "Dang it, Robert! I have to wait for this."
Sorry.
I don't have my water. Okay, here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answerman. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. And with me this evening, I have Robert McCall and Eric Oakley. We have the whole crew here. That is amazing. We are back. We missed last week. I had some things I needed to take care of that is outside of disc golf, but it was a good thing to be at. So
It was his butt.
Yes, I needed to be at my
It
butt.
was not.
It was not my butt. So anyway, we are back. We have some questions from our listeners. We are brought to you by Infinite Disc and Thought Space Athletics. At least Eric is. So we will get some questions. Oh, I do want to give a shout out to some good friends of mine now. Mr. Shane Solomon at Door Disc. Still working with Door Disc to bring you some of the best selection of discs online. Make sure you go to doordisc.com, or one time I think I messed up, I said doordiscgolf.com, so he went out and bought doordiscgolf.com.
Smart move.
So anyway,
if we're looking for sponsors, my current sparkling water is Rambler Lemon Lime. It's very good.
So guys, make sure you go check out Door Disc when you're ready to order your next disc. He has some of the best stuff out there, and he has like some of the newer stuff. So
could we get Yeti Cooler to sponsor us too?
Yeah. So
we already use their products.
So, hello, Yeti.
When you shop Door Disc, use code DGAM to get free shipping on your next order.
Do it.
All right, gentlemen, let's get to the questions.
Okay.
Oh wait, where did you talk? Can you talk about where you're at, Eric?
Oh yeah, another round disc golf in Charlotte reached out to see if I wanted to come out. Originally, there was a work day to work on Angry Beaver in the Charlotte area. And we're going to do a work day, a clinic, and doubles all on that same day to kind of hype it up and make some cool things happen. We had a bunch of disordered, but it snowed and the weather was terrible, so they canceled the work day. And my flight wasn't being canceled, so we weren't sure if we were even going to go. I still went. It was very cold, but we had a wonderful time. I got to hang out at another round, spend some time with Kyle Deck and Joseph Phillips and the rest of their crew. Which was amazing. It just was an awesome time. I got to see the new course at Eastway. I got to see German Yuli. I got to see the Rat Pack. If you guys haven't followed them on Instagram, they're awesome. They're a group of people that are originally from Minnesota, but now are spending some time closer to the Rock Hill area in South Carolina. So they are basically Charlotte locals at this point. Had a great time hanging and just doing some amazing things. And another round has a bunch of Thought Space discs. They got a bunch of EO discs. They got some of the Oakley Exodus, the Color Glow Metal Flake. They got Splatter Alpacas, Concrete Emperors, and I think there was others. Oh, Metal Flake Exodus, not the Color Glow Metal Flake. So it's just a different one, more just a Metal Flake C blend, which are super, super nice. And I just am super excited to try and get more Thought Space and Infinite into kind of the Charlotte area. I feel like it's very Innova dominated, but it's one of those places where distance drivers aren't king because the wooded courses allow for most people to be gravitating towards straight fairways to mid ranges. So there, and the disc that we had available offered up some really, really good ones. So it was a great time. I love the Another Round crew. Make sure you guys support them. They're good people.
Nice. Good deal. Good
awesome
deal. All right, let's see. Let's jump into the questions. This first one is from Elliot. Name the movie in the comments. Hello, DeGam fam. I have a question about elbow pain. I know you always say you aren't doctors, but I think it might be a form thing. I feel no pain on full power backhands, but if I throw little spinny putter up shots,
we did this last week.
I thought I went through all these and deleted them, but I apparently did not. We were going to go back.
Turns out you didn't.
Turns out I didn't. All right, here we go. Hey, Disc Golf Answer Boys. Whoa, dude. I want to talk about putting styles. If I said I was bad at putting, I'd be selling myself short. I'm really bad at putting. I've tried different putting styles, but nothing really sticks. My question is, how long did it take to find a putting style that works for you? And how did your putting style evolve over time? When your putt is off, how do you balance getting back on track through reps and practice or making changes on your mechanics? Thanks. And I'm not going to read what he says. He makes a request. I'm just going to do it.
Yes. Well done.
If you'll go back and check the tape, you'll see that my face was already mad before you pressed the button. I knew what was coming.
Okay. See, I'm gonna touch on something first. If he called us boys and he spelled it with an I, dope. He's in. But if he spelled it with a Y,
That's why I
I'm
paused.
not answering your question.
Why
I'm just kidding. I won't.
Pure disrespect.
I mean, if it boys is like, yeah, what's up, my boys? So for me, I originally just started trying to throw the disc as close to the basket as I could and getting it in the chains for whatever. I then at the time I cannot tell you what the name of the website was. It might have been Disc Golf Course Review or something like way back in the day, where I was able to find form videos and I learned about the pitch putt. So then I started grabbing JK AVRs and KC AVRs and different AVRs because that's what all I heard is like, you want this disc for your pitch putting. So I learned to try and do that, and I was terrible at it. So as I kept developing and getting, playing more, playing less, whatever, uh, I kind of adapted both to make somewhat of a spush putt, where I keep some of the motions of a pitch putt or a push putt, but I'm spinning the disc as well. So I'm keeping like the rocking back and getting your lower body into the throw, and playing for some drop in the putt. As I wouldn't call my putt. I would call it leaning more towards spin than I would push. But so what I'm getting towards is it took a long time and a lot of evolution, a lot of trying different things to kind of feel things out as it goes. And I'm so happy that I took the time to work on a pitch putt, because there are plenty of situations that I find myself in on courses where I need to go up and over something, and I would not be able to do that if all I did was just spin putt. So my thought, and I'll challenge this boy to make sure you work on everything, get good, be able to do it all from be able to do it all from a straddle, be able to do it all from a staggered stance, get decent from a knee, all those kinds of things I think will help. I don't know if there's a necessary amount of time, but stay at a range when you practice that allows you to continue to make putts. Have that be the thing that helps your game get better by continuously seeing yourself, continue to see yourself, see putts go in. Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
For sure.
Nice.
It took me a while to set. Thanks, dog. It's right now. It probably isn't, but most of the time it's like
when it's on, dude. I was like, all right, if Robert's inside of 45, it's like, all right, jam.
We're finding something. So before I switched to Wardens, I predominantly pitch putted. Not much wrist, super up and down motion, and it worked pretty well for a while. I got tired of missing short, because there's like, for me when pitch putting, there's this really kind of narrow window where I miss short just barely, miss over the top. In between those is not a big difference for me a lot of the time. And so after a while, I switched to Wardens to take a little bit straighter line approach. And I would say my putt now is a pretty much a spush putt. It's like right in the middle. It's less spinny than Eric's, but more spinny than right in the middle, I think. And gosh, it took me, oh man, probably several months of just drilling that over and over and over and over and over until I felt comfortable with it. But now that I do, it's like, yeah, it's comfortable from a straight on position, comfortable from a straddle. I can still pitch putt if I need to. I'm not great at it. But yeah, I think the key is sticking to it, even if it affects your scores for a while, right? Like, so when you go to play practice rounds and you switch to whatever style you're going to try, just practice putting. Like, disregard what you're scoring. Just throw putts in the basket. Well, yeah, like Eric said, watch putts go in. And if it feels comfortable to you, if the form feels comfortable to you, you're going to have a lot higher success rate than something that doesn't feel comfortable to you, but that you think might be more effective. Like, just because you saw somebody else doing it. Like, let's say you saw Ricky Wysocki putting, and you're like, I want to putt like Ricky. You're not.
Good luck.
You're not going to ever be able to putt like Ricky. His wrist it's like perfect. he puts so much spin on a pitch putt. It's insane.
Yeah.
And so that's why he can putt the way that he does. So like you emulate parts of what other people do, but it has to feel comfortable to you. Otherwise, it's not going to be great. Like I don't think my putt looks like a whole lot of other people's putt, but it's what works for me, and it gets the job done.
Yep.
Sometimes it gets the job done.
Yeah, but that's the point of it's not something that just works. There are shooters in basketball that their shot gets off and it gets cold and it can happen game to game. Like, yeah, Steph Curry's an absolute absurd, but he's had bad games, and so what does he do? He's hitting the gym. He's going straight back at it to figure out why is this not good. He's dialing in and focusing. So to touch on his next point is what do you do when things aren't going well, and how do you adjust? It's like you need to kind of focus in and have resets where I think one of the best reset that I've seen for me is there are times where I'm missing to the right. I'm just like putting flat and I'm pulling it to the right. And my simple fix is taking the disc and just going baby hyzer. Baby hyzer puts me right on the pole every single time for whatever reason, and I learned that by making mistakes. Like Robert is saying, like I was when I'd go and do my practice rounds, I'd be like, oh, just keep pulling it. Okay, cool, a little bit of hyzer, and then I was just jamming, and so I knew going into the tournament that was what I needed to do, and that was allowed me to translate to also when it's happening mid round. And what it sounds like is you're also again what Robert alluded to is like you're at a level where the score shouldn't matter that much. It should be about getting as much reps, and you will naturally see your score go down if you do play tournaments. So getting to that point where you're just seeing the successes and making things happen will allow for you to be able to make micro adjustments when you need to while you're playing a scored round. But if that and try and keep those to tournaments or a couple a week. But when you can play it more casually, see the shots, and enjoy it.
There you go. Next one is from Dawn. Eric, I've heard you say the best way to learn a forehand is by throwing understable discs. Can you just specifically explain why that is? Can you just do it?
I would
and what can we
do that.
and what can we learn by throwing understable discs as opposed to overstable ones?
Okay, so I love this a lot. So when throwing understable discs, what you're trying to do and learn with these, let me grab a good understable baby. Where's one? Oh, yes.
Hello, baby.
Okay, so with understable discs, what you're trying to do is understand how the disc works. If you're throwing overstable, the only way to make them fly is forcing them to fly. An overstable disc does not want to fly because it's just with the way it's made, it's trying to fight and get to hyzer. So in doing so, what we're trying to do is understand how much power it takes to throw from hyzer for a disc to stand up, maybe drift to the right, and then still fade. The goal of that understable flight is learning what types of powers can I still get full flight with the most understable discs. Another concept that this is teaching is overstable will teach you one angle, which is over the top. That is the only angle that disc is going to fly on. Yes, you can throw skip shots, so those are more utility shots. But if you're trying to make it fly a distance, you have to throw over the top. And that is one angle. If you threw all of your backhand shots just one angle, you're starting to limit yourself. But what we do on a backhand is you see people throwing hyzer flip backhands, you see people throwing flat backhands, turnovers, force overs, everything, rollers, everything. We want to do the same thing with our sidearm. So what did people teach you to do early on in the game? Understable, slower discs. It's the same concept that happens with the forehand. So I suggest work with the slower, understable, start from a standstill, gradually move up to a one step, and then start to incorporate a full run up into the forehand. And again, you should be able to say, all right, I'm taking this dot space mantra, understable disc for me, and I'm going to throw it at 40% or 60% on a hyzer and see what it does. And if that 60% hyzer gets it to full flight, and it still hyzers out, be like, okay, cool. I'm now going to throw it 80% on a hyzer. And if at that point it flips over and then burns and rolls, make sure it came out clean, didn't have a lot of wobble. But at that point, I understand that, okay, cool, 80% might be too much power for this disc. So I might be able to say 80% on an Exodus that's a little bit more stable, or a Centurion or something that might have a little more play, or a little more stability, and see what that does. So as you continue yourself forward, you're starting to build and work in these different power levels and understand. And then you can recognize that 60% sidearm hyzer with this flippy disc is actually really good for whole blah 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 at my home course. I can throw a shot at 60% and get a birdie or get a look or be able to stay out of trouble. You're going to start to look for that a lot more. And I think that's a really good concept to really think about. And again, the understable stuff will just teach you so much more about your body mechanics and how to improve that forehand.
Excellent advice.
I'm
Exactly
dropping
what
my
I would have
mic.
said. Exactly what I would have said. All right, this next one is from Samwise Gamgee.
Perfect.
Perfect. So, taking a break from finding the ring. I I notice when I use a forehand upshot with a neutrally stable putter, it sometimes comes out real smooth and flies further than intended, and other times it flies like a duck and lands right on the basket. Is it worth practicing nose angle and release angle, such as hyzer and anhyzer, with neutral putters to develop a smooth forehand? I've heard Eric talk about developing forehand with understable and neutral fairways and want to know any pros and cons of trying with understable and neutral putters. Thanks for the great content. You guys are awesome.
I tend to like mids more than I do putters, but I don't think there's any issue with that. I don't flick my putters much. I do in very specific situations, when I'm close and need little touchy stuff. I'll use an alpaca or a fierce at the moment, or even a berg. But I also am intrigued to try a polecat, which, by the way, I did ace with a polecat.
Dude, I saw that. That was awesome.
So, shout out. Polecat gang. They'll love that. Also, Berg gang is also sick. I'm trying to bring the two together because they could be a cohesive and powerful force if Berg gang plus Polecat gang were one, or at least homies. So, with that said, uh, I think it's very useful. I think the mid range translates more to more forehands you're going to throw, where I think a putter forehand is more. It becomes its own tool. Becomes its own unique shot that you have in your arsenal. Where a mid-range sidearm is similar to a fairway sidearm, which is but then the fairway sidearm is more closer to a driver sidearm. So you get this kind of natural progression where I think, again, the putter sidearm is more standalone because it's more it. I mean, Robert, you've had to do it. Tricky wood shots in Texas. Like it's a You're having to think a lot about other factors when throwing that.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. If I'm in an open field, like 150 out, I'm just never throwing a forehand. Unless
like
it's
a
like
zone or like something
right,
like that.
unless it's screaming right to left wind, like I'm just not throwing a forehand. Unless, like you said, it's an overstable, like utility type putter approach disc like zone. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Throwing those super straight is cool and helpful if it's natural to you, but I think you'll probably have greater success working with a backhand and working out the touch on that. Personally, that's what I think.
All right, next one comes from Stan. Let's see what happens with this question. Here we go. How important are players' moves from manufacturer to manufacturer for creating demand for discs? For that matter, how important are pro player sponsorships to actual gross disc sales? And how big a difference is there in this respect between companies like Dynamic Discs, Discraft, etc., and a company like Innova that has a big box store sales pipelines? I mean, I would say
that's a loaded question.
I know. I would say the manufacturers feel like they're important because of the money they're paying out, but I don't know about the moves from manufacturer to manufacturer. I don't know if you see a huge swing in sales that follow the player.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Yeah, this is a loaded question.
Yeah.
So at the very top level, yes, player sponsorship are they can be huge for a manufacturer. I mean,
Hmm.
look at Discraft, who was on the way out. At least in my opinion, like they had their market share had kind of slipped. Um, their discs were, I think they were still producing good discs. It's just they didn't have very many big names throwing them. They still had some great players on their team, but out of the blue, they pick up Macbeth, and then shortly after get Page, and then now, gosh, they've got a stacked lineup, um, and you're never going to be able to tell me that that didn't drastically affect just Discraft's bottom line. So at the top level and with people who are, performing well, who are popular on social media, yes, 100% it has a big impact. The extent of that impact is different from company to company. Somebody like Innova probably still has the largest market share, or at least the largest annual sales. So I would say their top pros account for a smaller percentage than somebody like um, who's a good example? Just a smaller company who has some top players. Like I bet MVP, I bet James's impact on MVP is larger than like a Calvin's impact on uh, Innova, disc
Yeah.
sales or percentage wise. Um, so if you're asking if sponsoring players is justifiable to the company, I think absolutely. Whether you actually get that money back dollar for dollar or not, there's no doubt, or else they'd stop doing it. Like if it was a
Yep.
bad business move, they they just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Um, the extent to which they are powerful for the company is something that we'll never know because like here's a good example for Eric. If somebody buys one of Eric Oakley's what's your new fairway driver again? The Exodus?
Exodus. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody buys an EO Exodus. You've got a pretty decent idea. They either like Eric or um, heard about the Exodus because of Eric, or maybe they just like the disc, right? But across the board, you could probably say, you know what? Eric's probably moving some sales of that disc.
Yep.
But let's say somebody just buys like a regular old Exodus, not one of the EO ones. It's pretty difficult to track whether they bought that because of Eric's influence
Yeah.
or because of the influence Eric had on somebody else. Maybe a local guy heard about it from Eric, and so he wanted to buy it, and so then this guy's buddy was like, "Hey, that's a cool disc," and he goes and buys it. So indirectly, he influenced it. That's one of the most difficult things about player sponsorship is attributing disc sales to a player. That
Hmm.
is that is super tricky, and I think impossible to uh, totally attribute properly. So that's a long answer to your question, but yes, it's a how big of an impact the player has on a company's bottom line is like an ongoing question, and we'll never really have an answer because we won't see the numbers of companies unless they were just like, hey, here you go.
So another, I think, factor that we're running into, this is something that Calvin Heimberg brought to me, is as something that we need to recognize in the sport, and maybe not all manufacturers are seeing it, is what happens if, and this is an if situation, if disc golf plateaus and companies now catch up and demand is now met and exceeded. What at that point? How are you going to be able to continue to sell product? It's tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's tough because if you don't have the right pieces in place and people who are ready to go out and market your brand and your company, and people aren't ready to get behind that, it's difficult. It's difficult for
Mm-hmm.
you to stay active and relevant in the disc golf world. So I think what the biggest factor of the next 5 or 6 years are going to be like are going to be putting the right people in place, that if we ever hit a lull, that your people continue to move the product and continue to move it. And this goes this goes beyond the player contracts. This goes to it goes to uh, it goes to retailers. It goes to social media creators. It goes to content creators. It goes to everything. It goes to all of that. You need to have the right people in place in so many aspects. Like you need to get your, I guess like what it would be, your fingers or your teeth or whatever, your roots down into all of this so that, man, we're hitting a point where sales are hard. You can put a promotion on and it's going to, everybody's going to see it because you've put the right people in place. So yeah,
Yep.
that's a thought that I think needs to be happening and needs to be really talked about amongst the manufacturers.
Sure.
Interesting. Ultiworld, actually, I saw an article that's not quite with this, but something maybe along the lines was. Now, of course, I didn't get to read the whole article because I don't subscribe to their paid articles. But the question of the week was because they were the title is Disc Golf Bubble, the Ricky deal, players overvaluing themselves. And the question of the week was: we have seen big market corrections for some of the high-flying pandemic stocks like Zoom and Peloton, which makes sense. Of course, Peloton is the bike. Demand for stay-at-home products seem to be waning pretty dramatically. Of course, there aren't any disc golf stocks, but is the sport due for a correction after its pandemic boom as things start to really reopen? So, kind of along the lines of this, manufacturers investing a lot of money in some of these top players because of the explosive growth of disc golf, which a lot of people are attributing to the pandemic. And now all of a sudden you see these other companies that are obviously are Goliaths compared to disc golf. They're starting to see numbers go down because the pandemic isn't causing people to stay home quite so much. Do you think that's going to affect? Are we going to see a correction? In other words, are these companies going to invest a lot of this money, and then a year or two from now, they're going to be like, "Whoa, we way over invested"?
Nah, I don't think so. I think the simple fact that disc golf has dramatically grown is that there are so many more people who know about disc golf, and disc golf is going to be the greatest pyramid scheme ever, because you're going to tell three friends, they're going to tell three friends, and it's just going to continue to grow. It might slow down some, but there is still going to be this natural just kind of spread that you keep seeing. Because how often, I mean, I have some guys that from high school that, kind of heard that I was, in disc golf that I haven't talked to in years, and I just got a message from one of them. Yo, I got one of your Exodus. It's super sick. We went out and played disc golf and we were talking about you and how cool it was. It's like, those guys didn't really play disc golf. They might have here and there, maybe in high school and college and stuff like that, but now they're seeing that it's still alive and they can get back into it. So you're going to have this kind of constant turnover. People will go and start playing video games, and they'll play Magic the Gathering, or some other hobby will come and take their energies. But disc golf is always going to be there. Like, I would imagine for Robert, and this definitely plays true to myself. When I was about 18 or 19 years old, I was playing a lot of soccer. So I kind of stopped playing disc golf. I did it a little bit, but I always knew disc golf was there. So I kept my discs. I had my bag. I was ready to go. I was ready to go rip at any moment, even if I went 6 months without playing. Disc golf was always theirs. I think that's the best part about disc golf is that, you can drop it, but always come back. So I think if we lose some members, they'll probably be coming back in the other sides.
Yeah, I don't think several people in the chat have said this. I do think there will be a correction, but it probably won't be back to pre-pandemic numbers. I mean, I think the active amount of people that are playing is so high right now. I think it's just going to keep growing. I think it'll plateau off a little bit, but I don't think we're looking at a downturn for a little while.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about companies and these huge contracts is a different question entirely, because look at Macbeth's contract. Macbeth could retire tomorrow if he wanted to. He doesn't need the money, right? But he's got a contract for 10 years, 10 million. Okay, so how old is Macbeth right now? Like 32?
No, he's much younger than me. He's like
He's younger?
28 to 29 would be my guess.
Dude,
I don't think he's
sorry,
30
Paul.
yet.
I didn't mean it, Paul. As I've gotten older, I assume everyone else is older too, so I apologize for that. But like, look, okay, let's say Paul is 36. Let's I don't know what he is.
Maybe he is.
I couldn't tell you.
He might be, but I just don't. I don't know. Go ahead. Continue.
So, but let's say the end of his contract. Let's just say it's when he's 38. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Come the ninth year when he's 37 years old. Like, what if he's lost interest? What if the competition has caught up? What if, a myriad of things like that is a long time to put on someone performing at the top level. Now, the thing about Macbeth specifically is I don't think that matters. Macbeth's going to do his thing regardless. Like whether he's at the very, very top like he has been in the past or not is irrelevant. He's always going to sell discs. He's always going to, have his foundation and get disc golf out there and for right now be the biggest name in disc golf. If we were to see another contract, similar length, similar money, I would be worried for that personally, for that company. Because you're putting all of your faith in one person to kind of carry the load for your team.
I was wrong. Anyway. 31. Yeah. One thing to mention, a 37-year-old that absolutely still slays, Cale Leviska.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, I'm like, the age thing isn't the big factor for me. It's that at that time, there's probably, think of like Eagles,
there's
mid-20s.
Yeah,
I was going to say there's 50 new Kyle Kleins. Like,
there's going to be so many
wiry
the
kids that have been
of the world are going to be now seasoned professionals, all that stuff. It's going to be hard, but if you look at a couple of people who've still been able to do it, Felberg, McRae, Cale, Patrick Brown, I'm missing somebody. Nate Sexton comes to mind as somebody who was able to do it. I think he won his major at 35.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty nuts. And,
it's out there.
Chris Hatton mentions, what if he gets injured at some point? I would imagine as a company, and what you do if it's a sports team, what do? You promote him. You talk about him. He gets behind the camera. He does other stuff. He finds a way to stay relevant. You can easily, Stokely comes to mind as well. You can easily stay relevant in the sport of disc golf just by putting out content and working within your company to continue to be seen. You don't have. It doesn't necessarily have to be done on the course. I think that's something else that is definitely missed. Is that your impact on the sport? Is there's only 12 people around that are filmed at most.
Yeah.
So if you're not one of those 12 people, you're kind of irrelevant at the weekend, in a lot of ways. Like, and I mean that. It's just how it is. It really is. But if I'll use this as an example, take Ledgestone the year Nate Sexton won it. Do you know who got just as much promotion that weekend? Your boy.
Yeah.
I was in the water, and that is what was talked about. Nobody really talks about Nate Sexton winning Ledgestone because he's won a major since then. But whatever. Thank you, Nate, for letting me have Ledgestone. Two, because people will still put people in the water and tag Eric Oakley and put Mike in the somewhere. Still there. So again, I guess my point is that your relevancy doesn't only come from your play. Your relevancy comes from the impact that you leave on it, and how you stay relevant when it's not going your way. So
100%.
There you go.
That actually kind of leads to what Chaser had brought up before in a couple few shows ago about the concept of a player value. Also, he wanted to mention how nice your hair looked, Robert.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Robert, dang it.
Yeah, I think honestly we could go in circles about player value for a long time. I think we should move on because there's like we could go devil's advocate. Like I could take one side and Eric could take another, and we could go back and forth for hours
Yeah.
on that. You know what I mean?
I
But
just
anyway.
to touch just simply on it.
Sure.
If you're trying to be a player and you're trying to make it happen, if you're in the chat and you're aspiring to be a next person, you have to be able to do it all.
Yep.
And I'm going to say
100%.
this in the best way possible about a really good friend of mine in Andrew Presnell, is that he is one of the hardest working people in disc golf. He plays so many tournaments. He's one of the best people I've played with. He is just a gamer. But his social media is so far behind, and he works at it. He's trying, he's posting, he's doing the things he should. It's just not his strong suit. So what does he do? He just keeps grinding tournaments. So if you want to be actually good and valuable on all aspects, be a good player. You don't have to play every single event, just play a good amount of events. And also be active, not only on social media, but in the disc golf Reddit, into Facebook pages, into your local community or whatever community you happen to be in at that point. Just be this positive influence to where your name kind of comes up in conversations. Make an impact on another human being. So when somebody says something, oh, Robert McCall, but oh my God, yeah, I was in Kansas and I saw Robert, and oh man, he was just so nice to me. It was really cool. That now spreads just as much as the COVID, the disc golf. Yeah, go ahead.
It's worth you're right. That's worth more than being a good player. Cause I was never a great player, but people will recognize me because of what you're talking about. Just being on videos and putting myself out there on social media, and yeah, so I'm with you. If a player's trying to get into it, don't think that top level play is the only way to do it, or that's all that you can do to get there. Like you could be the best player in the world. You absolutely could, and you could have 20 people outsell you who are better full packages.
Promoters. Yeah.
Yep.
Paul Ulibarri, Jeremy Colling come to mind as some of the best sellers of a product, and their tournament results are adequate to an extent, but you know they will be the first to say, yeah, I haven't really played that well, but I've stayed relevant because I've had these opportunities, and it's super important. So the point being, get out there, be a jack of all trades or Jill of all trades, or whatever you need to do to kind of make it happen. Do it. Be good at all of it, because there is going to come a time where, you know, those skills that you've built up from trying is going to pay off in the long run, so you keep your relevance for even longer.
For sure.
All right, so
that's where player value comes in. So
yes.
Yeah, go.
Oh no, sorry. Okay, so that's all the questions we have for tonight. But we got a couple things I want to debate not debate, but talk about. And that
I want to talk about Wordle.
We'll do that here in a second.
Can I talk about my discs?
Let's talk about, let's do first Katrina Allen. Let's talk about how she made an announcement that we're going to find out on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
And apparently, I'm the only one on the show that doesn't know where she's going.
Got him.
They will not tell me. So
okay,
they're obviously
I will give you a hint, Bobby.
It's not. You're not going to give me a good hint.
She is going to a disc golf company.
Thank you.
So, just make of that what you will.
Yeah, and here I thought she was going to an orange juice.
See, you would have been wrong if you thought that.
I'm so glad I didn't put.
I mean, if Sunkiss wants to sponsor me or whatever,
dude, Sunny D.
Sign me up. Minute Maid. Oh, Sunny D. Oh. Yeah, I'd get down. I'd get down on Sunny D over any of all of those.
So
okay, have you as an adult gone and looked at how much sugar is in some of the stuff that we drink as kids?
Kind of.
No,
it's unbelievable.
And our parents were just like, "Sure, have it.
Good.
Here, have it. Here, have it. Here, have it, dude." I've been okay. So I'm back off of soda. Okay, since the beginning of the year.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing it with me and a buddy from Emporia have a kind of an accountability thing going, and so I've been trying to like watch a little bit more, how much sugar is and stuff and calories, and not going crazy or anything, but just trying to be a little bit more healthy, right? And I looked at a can of Dr. Pepper the other day, and I was shocked at how much sugar was in it. Like I know because I drank it and I'd seen it, but now that I haven't been, it's like, oh my gosh, I did this every day, usually multiple times.
Yeah. Crazy.
That ain't good.
Crazy.
So I have many
Crazy.
sparkling waters now.
All right, so Katrina Allen, we don't know where she's going. Of course, I posted on the Facebook group.
You don't.
This is true. I don't. I posted on the
We know.
Facebook group, and there was all kinds of speculations. It's anybody's game.
That's funny.
We'll find out Wednesday though. But I just looked down at my Instagram and saw Calvin Heimberg said 31 minutes ago. He said, "Look for a few announcements dropping from me this week, beginning Wednesday through Friday. Long time coming."
From what I can kind of speculate on that, I actually haven't talked too much with Calvin, but I know he has been working with different people, kind of gaining, doing stuff to be more active on social media. So I know he's branching into the other avenues of sponsors and doing more to kind of help grow his web and make the Calvin Heimberg brand bigger. So you're going to see him maybe working with a lot more companies and different things like that, which is, I mean, he hasn't really needed to in the past, but he's looking at disc golf, and I think in a different way to get even more out of it and more out of the time he has in disc golf. So I'm super proud of him, super pumped.
His first post on Instagram was this November 27th, 2018, and he only has 16 posts in 3 years.
And not long before he started making the change to be more active on social media, there were like 3. And I think one of them is a toad with an acorn on his head, the acorn top shell. So it looks like the toad has a hat. It's amazing. It's one of the best photos I've seen.
Oh my God, yes. The majority of his posts were made within the last week. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding.
Calvin's the best, man.
Oh, he's great.
Calvin
Heimberg, going to see some new fantastic stuff, so make sure you follow him on Instagram so you can see what's going on.
Good luck to him. That's going to be big time.
He's a good dude. I like him. Okay, so what else we got to talk about? That's about really all that we're going to talk about in the disc golf news, but apparently Eric has some new discs.
I am excited.
Oh, tell us. So what discs are you trying out this week, Eric?
So been trying this one out for a while. The Onyx from Discraft.
That's Onyx. Sorry.
Yeah. I genuinely am loving this disc. I think what I'm getting out of it is kind of what I used to see, or what you still see, like Eagle McMahon using a PD for. I'm getting a similar result with the Onyx, and I'm not having to throw a $500, $600 first run PD to make that happen. I will say in the stock run of the Onyx, though, I have had multiple runs or multiple colors, and they've flown differently. But from what I've heard, that's kind of how it is. And it's a fantastic disc, 10 speed, 6 glide, 0 turn, 3 fade. I would probably put those numbers to be super accurate. But for me, I'm hitting it baby hyzer and throwing it as hard as I want, and I'm getting a very, very straight flight. I can throw it with a little more hyzer, rip it, and get it to hold a hyzer. I had one that was a little more seasoned that hit a curb and super dead. That was a little more hyzer flip, so if I wanted to keep it on a hyzer, I had to really drive it on a hyzer. So it was super good. Oh, B flips. Let's go, bud. And this is actually a disc that was sent to me that there's maybe some opportunities to do some stuff in the future with this company. Where we will see, discussions to be had. But it is the Terminal Velocity Ursus. So this is a new disc. They are a company based out of Texas, and I would say that this is probably the closest disc to a Justice that I have ever thrown.
That's what I was going to say, just looking at the profile.
But I wouldn't say that this is like one of the crazy overstable Lucid X Justices or or the flat Justices or anything like that. But what this disc does, this reminds me of the Justice that I've had in my bag this one that I've had in my bag for years. This is I actually threw this for the first memorial I played for dynamic discs. Is when this Justice went in the bag.
Wow.
And it stayed in the bag until this. I mean, I could still throw it now if I wanted to, but I put a new one in just to test out if I was to compare it to a zone a little bit more, because I can't say that this is going to last forever. But what I'm seeing from these two discs, this acts very similarly to this. So a brand new version of this is like a slightly more stable version of my super beat up Justice, and I don't have to wait 4 years for a Justice to get like that, and I can grab this disc. And I think it plays a little bit. It might be just a little bit faster, or it just has a little bit more glide. And that's exactly what I want from this disc. I don't want the crazy overstability of like the crazy overstable Justices. I want to be able to kind of push something on a slight ante and have it slowly peel itself out, or skip shots. That's where this Ursus is super surprising. I was throwing it for some crazy flex forehands. I was throwing some hyzer skip shots. I was able to throw it powered down, powered up. It was very impressive. So I'm going to be ripping on this more. It is not going to be in my building the bag series, because I literally just got it yesterday after I got back from Charlotte. I had a box sitting next to my computer. I grabbed it and I went out and threw it today, and I was super impressed. I am a big fan and looking forward to potentially throwing it more and maybe even bagging it. So check them out. It's good. Somebody was asking if I've thrown the Alpha from Mint. I did. It just, an 8-speed is weird.
You're weird.
Is it an 8-speed? I thought it was faster.
It's considered an 8-speed. It definitely isn't as fast as, say, a Thunderbird or anything, but it's really good. I would imagine if I got one seasoned in, I'd like the Alpha more, but I ended up using a Votum in that slot, where the Votum is a glidey 7-speed, so it gets the same kind of similar distance, but it was just easier to naturally stand up but still have fade, where the Alpha wouldn't really stand up. It would just hold the hyzer and kind of push. But if you're looking for a really good disc, and the Alpha I would highly suggest. It's a very good disc, very good fadeaway. Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's the discs that Eric is trying out. Thank you so much for doing that for us, Eric Oakley.
Oh, just a second. I got a really ugly disc I want to show you guys.
Okay.
Yep. We're going to talk about Wordle now.
I saw Chris Dickerson had these come out for Discraft, the robot chicken ones, and nice. I told him normally I wouldn't buy a disc that has somebody's name who I just smoke in pickleball 24/7, but I made an exception this time, so I got one of these sick boozies. I like the swirl on it pretty well. So yeah, shout out Chris Dickerson. You're better than me at disc golf. I'll crush you at pickleball.
I haven't played pickleball in months.
Well,
I tried to go play here. I tried to go play here in Claremore, and nobody showed up. But of course, it was freezing, and it was during the holidays. But anyway, okay. So real quick, Robert, you were chomping at the bits. What is Wordle?
Okay, if you guys haven't played it, I am enjoying it very much. It's pretty low commitment. So this is how it goes. The object of Wordle is to guess a different 5-letter word each day. You start by guessing a 5-letter word, and then it tells you if you have correct letters and correct letters in the right spots. So if a letter is green, you have the correct letter in the correct spot. If it's yellow, then you have the correct letter in the wrong spot. And you've got 6 guesses to guess the 5-letter word. It's a different word every day, only one word every day, same one for everybody. So yeah, just Google Wordle and it'll come up. It's like the actual website is powerlanguage.co.uk/Wordle, WORDLE. Yeah, and you can play a different one every day. So I enjoy it. I've seen a lot of people posting on Facebook about it. A nice little mental exercise, just, for 5 minutes or something like that. I like it.
I don't like word games.
Dude, that's your fault, because word games are awesome. Okay. Jay and I have been doing crossword puzzles recently, and it's
Words
been
with
great.
Friends were crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm good with that too. I'll play that.
Same. Words with Friends is
I haven't
dope.
played that in a while.
But yeah, if you're not on Wordle, get on it. It's fun. One word a day.
All right, cool.
Good word a day.
All right, that's all the time we have for this particular episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. We're gonna play a quick game for our Patreon. It's gonna be
Yes.
we gotta. It's not anything crazy. It's just something I saw on PDGA. I want to see if you guys can guess what touring pros would be doing if they weren't playing disc golf.
Nice. If you haven't subscribed to our Patreon, go and check it out at patreon.com/DGAM. A growing number of you guys are doing it. We appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Pays for the technology to do this stuff.
It's pretty
And
dope.
if we get a little bit more, maybe I can talk my dad into getting better internet.
Heck yeah.
Actually, I will be moving out of this place soon
To get better
I'll have
internet.
yeah. I'm going to call these apartments. So, what's your internet like? All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We had a good audience this evening. We had a great show. I appreciate all of you. Subscribe
Spread the
to
love.
us on YouTube and check us out on Patreon if you can. We have a lot of fun over there. We'll see you guys.
Bye.